I'm an entrepreneur myself. I ran my own business for 18 years. I started in my backyard. I put a $5,000 lien on my mortgage and bought my first machine. It's the only way I could afford to buy it. And I grew that from a small 14 by 20, I think, the garages I started in, with very little heat in it at the time, to a very successful business over 18 years. And I understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur, all the trials and tribulations, all the difficulties you have. I didn't know anything about running a business when I started. All I knew, I had a dream, and then I went at it. And it took me several years to get the business side of the business down, and that doesn't sound too smart, the business side of the business, but that's really what it is. You really got to know your products. You got to know how you manufacture your products. And I was in manufacturing. Also got to know the accounting side of it. You have to know what things cost, how you designate that, how you reduce those costs, while at the same time improving quality. It's a very complex thing to run a business. Now there's all kinds of business in Nova Scotia and in Canada indeed, and it doesn't have to be manufacturing. Any kind of business you have, you can run a small shoe repair business, and that's just as important to our economy as Michelin Tire is. It's very, very important to our economy. We have to get the small businesses to grow. If every small business in this province could hire one person in the next 5 years, our economy would totally turn around. There's no question. When you look at that and see the impact of the economy, and you and I have talked about this before, about how a small business person spends the money back in their own community, how they employ local people, how they donate to community organizations, all the things that makes the community a better place to live in. And anyone that can remove an import that's coming into the province, in other words, produce something that replaces something that's brought in from outside, adds to the economy. And the Department of External Affairs told me when I was running my business, and I did a lot of exporting, that they said for every dollar I receive from outside of Nova Scotia, and that can be as far away as in China, or in Africa, or Europe, or wherever you want to go, or as close as Moncton, New Brunswick. It adds 7 times the dollar value of that product. And if you manufacture something, it's the same. It's exactly the same, or if you displace something that's being purchased. It's the same thing. So it doesn't take much math to figure out that if we had a lot of businesses doing just that, it could be a service that is provided locally instead of someone driving from, say, Moncton to Nova Scotia to provide the service. If they live here, that means they buy a home here. That means they hire someone to repair their home. It can be a whole list of things that they do. They go to the local gas station and buy gas there. They buy a car locally. Anything that they spend here stays here, and it helps the economy. And we need the small businesses to provide the services to the rest of Nova Scotians. And if we don't have our small businesses there paying the taxes, we can't provide the services to people that need education, health care, and road repairs, and all the other things we do as government and government employees when they work. And people have got to realize that both at the government level, that people that work in those positions, that we actually work for the taxpayer of the province. And we should provide them with the best possible service that we can to ensure that they get the service provided they need at a reasonable cost in a timely manner. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it happens very, very well.